And no offense to you, but when we did have the property next to you under contract and, on Stacy Run before we bought
Right.
it. Yeah, and I did notice the statute, and I did say to my husband, I can't believe an HOA would allow that, do we really wanna buy this house? Because that's what we're looking for, we were looking for uniformity, we want, not creativity, if you want, from my opinion, if you want creativity, live on some acreage. So that's just my personal opinion, that I think when you live in an HOA, you do expect that there are going to be rules that's gonna reflect some uniformity.
But you cannot buy into this community unless you agree with the HOA bylaws and covenants, and every person here is contracted to agree.
Exactly.
Or nobody will finance the notes. It was a
But I can
hand
see where
factor.
you're coming from.
Yeah, I was
Because I've had several people say, I think I'll go get some pink flamingos and put them out. Everybody should get pink flamingos and put them in their yard.
Well, that kind of gets back to the doing shit in a spiteful kind of tit for tat kind of way.
Yeah.
And that's not even a slippery slope, that's just, as I said earlier.
Please in the back.
Yes, sir, I was just gonna say, I live directly across the corner from the Rhino, so it looks like it's charging in my house. I'm cool with it, I got no problem with it, I mean, it really doesn't bother me, I look at it every day. Of all the other things I see in the neighborhood, and I will tell you, my concern not only is architecture, the prettiness of the neighborhood, but there's criminal things going on in this neighborhood. I've broken up 2 hand-to-hand drug deals through some of my buddies, I've seen it going on, because they're coming across the street, they're meeting in the parking lots. So not only, I know the board can't control that, but I just think that we need to also focus on the safety of our neighborhood, not just how pretty it looks too.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm, just kind of making that point.
For some of you who have just maybe moved in, we did have the sheriff out here a year and a half ago. I think under Diane's tenure, we had the sheriff. The sheriff did come out to a board meeting and felt that we looked in the community watch service, the community watch program, and we instituted the neighborhood My River Club, the neighborhood
Well, it's called
website.
Next door,
Or next
but that's
door.
become a joke, because now it looks like a newspaper ad.
Everybody's complaining.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, they want to sell everything, it's just like a classified ad in the newspaper now. So I don't even bother looking at it anymore, it's just, and it's from all other neighborhoods that's joined in to us.
I think part of it is too on that, on the next door thing, not a lot of people realize that you can click off all those other neighborhoods. So if you don't wanna see, if all you wanna see is something that somebody from River Club has to say, you just click off all those other neighborhoods and just click on River Club, and then that's all you'll see. You won't see all that other stuff, which helps, because I did that too, obviously. And then, and, I don't know, I think it's odd when people from other neighborhoods are responding on our.
And for alerts and things that's really important in your community, to alert people that live there. But like I said, now it's become just a classified, and a gossip column.
Don, let me ask you, about 4 years ago, there was a concerted effort to cut back on the cost of the first residential service.
Yes,
And the net result to that was,
we were in contract for 2 more years.
yeah, that I get to my point. The question I have is, by increasing their responsibility, would that lend more teeth to the fines that could be levied against those who are in violation?
You're in a great spot, and we've actually been talking about this for the last couple of board meetings, less attended board meetings, but it was very important. And so we engaged Chad Winard, the Whiteford Preston Taylor out of Fairfax County, that bought the firm down here in Spotsylvania County. But FSR said, if you want to get tough, here's the lawyer that we use. And they said, you gotta sign an agreement with them. So we contracted that lawyer, and his report is in here. So he's gone after the top 3 largest debt holders, because collections has been an issue. And he's supposedly the most successful debt collector that FSR uses of their team of people, so we can gauge them. But then we've also, he has gone out and he did a property survey, so we have conflicting data. Because we have data from the county GIS that very clearly shows the easement, and that there's supposed to be a 2-foot standoff, for example. So research, we've hired these professionals to come in and talk to us. Now, on this Rhino issue, I should toss out, because Helene's not here, sometimes she comes and sometimes she doesn't. But Helene called me, and I ended up calling Rick, because she bet my ear for 45 minutes, and she had lost her mind. She said she's had fielded over 30 phone calls on the rhinoceros, that other neighborhoods, that we were the laughing stock in other neighborhoods, that they were laughing. that other neighborhoods were driving over to see this. and that
They
we
come
were
over
getting
for trick or
traffic
treating too.
in
Look
in
not
our
credibility.
community, and so
Good market.
Helene's professional opinion is that there's a potential zoning issue because you can't build an attraction in a residential neighborhood.
So we're gonna stretch it to call that an
Well,
attraction.
it just depends. Now, there's another thing, which is if you go into your property, and this is from Chad Bernard, our attorney. Now, the board will discuss this tonight, but the feedback from Chad Bernard, our attorney, was if you do something to your property that creates a public hubbub, a bunch of ticked off people,
Now, that's a technical term, right?
yeah, then it's a
Is that
public.
hyphenated?
So the legal definition is a public nuisance. So if the board, in the bylaws, is empowered to enforce anything that is creating a public nuisance. So there is a catch-all in all, which is we litigate under the public nuisance law, which is you have just put this community in such turmoil. We record all the phone calls, we record all the meetings like this where people have come out emotionally. People were violent, proclaiming violence, vandalism, they're gonna deface it, this, crying on the phone to her. So these
Where's
are
the line drawn
threshold
then?
issues,
We got a house that's been busted 3 times in the last 3 years for sale of drugs.
Yes. And we've
And
reported
if
it to
that's
the
not a
sheriff.
hubbub,
Yeah,
I really don't know what the definition of hubbub is.
but lawn
clearly-
ornaments are not restricted in the bylaw. Now, if it's a 2-ton structure, then generally county ordinance prohibits large
Probably
structures.
weighs 200, less than 220 pounds.
Wow.
167.
So,
Scary, you know that.
According to Wayfair.com.
No, my
So the
point is,
bottom
where's the
line-
line drawn, Don?
Well, no, the board, our job as elected from you all is to try and reflect your will, and, we
Well,
haven't discussed this yet.
You're absolutely right.
but the
fact of the matter is,
professionals-
the people that have got it, they're got an angst about it, are the ones that are showing up.
Well, so,
You know
well,
that
here's,
well enough.
listen, my little opinion on this is that we pay professionals in this real estate business to protect our assets and ultimately the value of our houses. So, I don't call myself a real estate professional, and I don't roll through the 14 communities of this area every single day. Helene does. Every single one. She drives every single street in our development and all the ones in hers. And she'll say whether we look good, we look bad, we're doing something stupid, we're not doing something stupid. In the professional's opinion that we hire to protect our interests, not the board's interest, they're telling us that we're being foolish. Now, we may like things, we may like purple, but if we paint our houses purple and our professional comes up to us and says, you're being foolish, you're devaluing your houses. So, at least what I want to put into the public forum is that our professional is very clearly disturbed, says that we are a laughingstock, and says that we will have a huge and direct impact on your dollar value, which is one of my largest investments, and I hope is one of all of our largest investments. And so, when it comes to style, I don't care if you wear sandals or heels or shoes or blue or red or what have you, but if you start impacting my lifetime of work and my family's nest egg, do I get a say about it? Yes, in homeowners association communities, everybody gets a say.
I don't disagree with a word of that, but we damn well ought to start with the people who won't grow, that won't cut their lawns, and that have nothing but weeds when they do cut.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Because it's just not one thing.
No, it's not. I mean, and that's what I was saying,
But
that
you know,
I think we're going down a bad path in our neighborhood right now.
well, I will also tell you that we at the board here, who've been here for many years, and Jack, you have done this too over the past 5 years, for every person that says that our letters are not strong enough, that we're not pursuing these wisely enough, we get people coming in here that say, you sent me a nasty gram from the lawyer. Not necessary. You sent me a nasty gram for power washing my thing. Not a big deal, not necessary. You guys are overdoing it. You're too aggressive. So, it's the balance, we're trying, but you just recognize, the board itself is not trying to do anything against anybody. We are all volunteers, we're just trying to preserve the value of our houses. And so someone has decided to do something different. It's cool. I like statues, I think it looks cool. But if the professionals are telling us that it's gonna devalue our community, that other communities are laughing at us, that matters. When you sell a house and you're competing with a bid for someone that's looking at country club estates, what do you think they're gonna say to the buyer when they go over there? You can't buy in that neighborhood. Have you looked at their next door river club? They all are sniping at each other all the time. They got ridiculous things going on in their front yards. There's no power in HOA. That neighborhood's going downhill. So the challenge really is, I don't think anybody wants to hurt anybody's one individual. The question is, does that really add to our community or not? Because we are a combined community. Anyway.
See, and I see what you're saying with that, sir. My only concern is here we are now gonna go after a rhino as a public nuisance. When, like that gentleman right there said, there's been a house that has been raided for substances that kill people every day.
Yeah.
There's been a motorcycle group that's
Well,
been
we've tried to go after them too.
I know.
We have talked to the sheriff directly, we have called the police on them several times. There are things that have been
No,
done.
and I'm not saying they're having, I'm just saying, now we're gonna label this rhino as a public nuisance, but not these other two entities that are, to me, more of a public safety issue.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
So-
Now, the jurisdiction of the board has more say over the rhino, sort of, than it
No.
does over.
Criminal behavior.
I get
which-
that, but I'm
that's
just
your
saying.
department.
Yeah, well, it's not my
Police
department, it's
department.
Spotsylvania's department,
But
I
we
get what
have-
you're saying, I get what you're saying, I understand the jurisdiction of everything. I'm just saying that, on the perception part of it is here we are trying to do more about a rhino than we are trying to do.
Well, I wanna say a year and a half ago, for about 6 months, we had an extra police patrol through the neighborhood every day. So we called Spotsylvania and the sheriff agreed to run an extra cruiser through our neighborhoods every single day. And they will do that, but, their resources are stretched thin, so thanks for bringing it up. If it's something that we need to do again, then we'll call them again and say, hey.
The good news is they're moving out right now. They've
Yeah,
already taken 3 loads out of the house.
nice.
And the trailer's there. The new buyers supposedly were there this morning. I actually talked to the guy. And I did talk to the BB&T who owns, or maybe Federal Credit Union that did own the home. There was a glitch on the sale of it on Thursday, but the new buyers did take a walkthrough. And once it sells, and they're 15 or 18 days out from moving out, provided they get the
Yes.
foreclosure sale on it, and they're sleeping on the floor. They actually moved everything out. They only got a few things left, but they're waiting for the sheriff to actually tell them to leave. But the new buyers actually walked through today. I was there when they walked through with
That's terrific.
banking people, and they did walk out of the house and they walked through. You see the motorcycle, the last motorcycle, there's one motorcycle there. They actually moved all of them out except one sitting on a trailer and the other one's still sitting there. And I mean, they're almost all gone. They're just living on the floor. Their power was turned off and they've had no power for 3 days, but I think the power just got turned back on today. So they're almost gone. Believe me, they live right across from me, so
That's the
I've been
best
dealing
news
with
you can
them
give
for
me
2
all
years.
month.
I know. I mean, they went for 19 days without any electricity.
That whole story is tragic. So,
It's tragic,
it
so
just-
with James, so trust
As
me.
much as
Well, thank you for letting us have
the end result is.
community comments on the positive note, appreciate that.
Yeah, they're almost gone.
Actually, I have one question for you. I'm a little fuzzy. So are you saying that, because the rhino isn't my taste, but it's done tastefully, and I get that. The concern I have is Amy's and Jack's, and we've called the realtor for the house next to ours that has been rented since I've been a resident here, which is almost 14 years, and they're letting it get overgrown. So we've done that, they've come out and mowed it and whatnot. But you're saying that we have fines, but we don't totally know the fines. And I've served on this board, so I'm well aware of how this works. But the concern I've got is, when I served on the board, our big issue was the management company was telling us a lot of what to do. This is a different management company, or at least they've changed their name 3 times. Right. And so we ended up having a lot of money from the homeowners go into the management company and nothing really getting done. So I'm trying to see, what is the difference between River Club versus communities like Lee's Hill or Saw Hill or Bloomsbury, where you're gonna pay those fines? They're gonna put them there, they're gonna have an attorney on your doorstep, they have the same problems that the rest of us do, they have the same statutes.
So The thing that has changed is that there's a new Virginia Homeowners Association Act, which was done, don't quote me on a date, 2010, 2012, or 2014. And it gutted, totally gutted, overstamps by state law, what homeowners association could do in terms of fees and levying and the angst that they were generally causing.
Right.
So we have been limited to a very stringent interpretation of the bylaws. And that's where, but FSR, there are other factors here, as I've alluded to when talking to you all, which is we've got a lot of people who aren't paying.
Right.
So incurring additional expense is something, we're trying to maintain the solvency so we maintain the monuments, and that means not going negative. But right now, the cover of our delinquency report says total owner delinquencies are 34.66%. Auditors typically recommend that this ratio be at a level of 3 or 5%. 66%.
How many are rentals?
3 or 5. Now, what it is, we've had the same 5, 6 people run up multi-year